The major banks, all four of them, the CBA, Westpac, ANZ and the NAB, all offshoring. And the work that's been offshored is technology roles right through to workers in processing areas, loan documentation, mortgages.
Clear the market is weakening, and it's not just due to statistical anomalies.
The industries in Australia are all shrinking right now, and the job market is not in a good place from what I understand.
Let's cut through the spin. Australia's economy has been riding a wave of government hype, but the numbers don't lie, and they're screaming trouble. Last month, unemployment spiked to 4.3%, a level we haven't seen since the dark days of late 2021. That's not just a statistic. It's a signal that the cracks in our so-called miracle job market are starting to show. Economists were banking on 20,000 new jobs in June. Guess what? We got 2,000. That's like promising a full roast dinner and serving up a single Tim Tam. It's not just a miss. It's a red flag waving in a storm. Young Aussies are feeling the pinch hardest. Youth unemployment has skyrocketed to 10.4%, the worst since the pandemic lockdowns. Imagine being 20, full of ambition, and stuck stacking shelves or delivering Uber Eats because proper jobs are vanishing faster than a cold beer on a 40-degree day. This isn't just about kids missing out on pocket money. It's a generation locked out of careers, homeownership, and the chance to build a future. We're not raising dreamers. We're creating a generation of economic drifters, couch surfing in their parents' spare rooms. Now, let's talk about the Reserve Bank of Australia, RBA. They're sitting on the sidelines, holding interest rates steady like a captain, refusing to steer away from an iceberg. Financial markets, though, aren't buying the calm. They're betting on an 89% chance of rate cuts next month because the data is shouting what the RBA won't admit. Our economy is slowing down, and it's not just a speed bump, it's a cliff. Some experts are already whispering about 4 rate cuts by early next year. That's not optimism. That's damage control. What's driving this mess? For years, we've been propping up our job market with government-funded programs like the NDIS, creating roles that look good on paper but don't build real wealth. It's like blowing up a balloon and calling it a house. Sure, it's big and shiny, but it's not going to keep you dry when the storm hits. 4 out of 5 jobs created this year were in government-backed sectors. That's not a thriving economy. That's a band-aid on a broken leg. And when the funding runs dry, those jobs vanish, leaving nothing but a bigger hole to fill. Then there's manufacturing, or what's left of it. Australia's factories are in a full-blown recession, shrinking faster than a cheap t-shirt in the wash. The Australian Industry Group reported a 2.6% contraction in manufacturing last year, with every sector except food and drink taking a hit. We're still making pies and stubbies, but the complex stuff, the cars, the steel, the tech, that's gone. Our manufacturing sector is now just 5% of the economy, the smallest in the OECD. We've gone from building ships to importing everything, calling it progress while our industrial backbone crumbles. And don't get me started on productivity. Australia's productivity growth is at its lowest in 60 years, a measly 0.07%. That's like trying to win a grand final by jogging in slow motion. We're working harder but getting nowhere, creating jobs that don't make us stronger or richer. Business investment has tanked to 6% of GDP, half what it was a decade ago. Companies aren't betting on Australia's future because they can see the writing on the wall. We're becoming an economic ghost town, with empty factories and fading dreams. The real gut punch is what's happening to full-time jobs. In June, we lost 38,200 full-time positions, while part-time gigs grew by 40,200. We're not building careers. We're churning out casual shifts that barely cover the rent. It's like swapping a steak dinner for a servo pie. It'll keep you going, but it's not a life. Underemployment is up to 6%, meaning 1 in 10 Aussies is either jobless or scraping by on too few hours. In Tasmania, unemployment is at 7.5%, proving this pain isn't just a city problem. It's hitting regional Australia like a sledgehammer. Here's the scariest part. This isn't some global shock like the GFC or an oil crisis. This is a homegrown disaster, built on years of pretending everything's fine while the real economy rots. The NDIS job boom and migration surges mask the problem, creating demand for services but not for productive, wealth-building work. We've been importing people faster than we can create real jobs, and now the cracks are showing. Our economic competitiveness has slumped from 13th to 18th globally in a single year. Real GDP growth per person? We've dropped from 20th to 60th. That's not stagnation. That's a slide into irrelevance. Australia's job market isn't a miracle. It's a mirage, and the desert of reality is closing in. Unemployment is climbing, youth are stranded, manufacturing is collapsing, and productivity is flatlining. The politicians might keep spinning their fairy tale, but the numbers don't lie. We're not the lucky country anymore. We're the country that got lucky for a bit, and now the bills do. If we don't wake up and demand real change, this economic storm could turn our sunburnt dreams into a full-blown nightmare. So what's it going to be, Australia? Are we going to keep pretending the barbecue's stocked? Or are we ready to face the truth and rebuild?